welcome back to my channel, and this is Alex from Alex's Innovations, and today I'm going to show you how to make a braided alpha. A braided alpha is a really cool technique that uses the back of the alpha strings to make a really cool braided pattern. So you don't really need to switch colors or anything to do this. This all has to do with knotting around the bass strings and doing that in a specific way to generate this pattern. It took me a couple of tries to get this correct. As you can see here, I tried at first with this gold string and it didn't really work at all, as well as my technique was pretty bad. So I tried crossing the strings in a different direction and that just made it worse. So then I went back to that and it didn't really get much better. And then I tried with a lighter color and that made it a little better. And then a couple of you suggested on my Instagram to double the strings that I was knotting over, and that seemed to really work, as well as darken the color a little bit. So I've done that and I have perfected this technique, I think, so I'm going to be showing you how to make this last portion of my trial and error bracelet right here. For this bracelet, I'm going to be making the bass strings that we're knotting over in the center different colors. So for example, we have these two pink strings, then we have these two blue strings, and finally we have these two green strings. I'm going to be grouping each of the two same colored strings together as one string, but in doubling them it's going to make the braid design thicker and more apparent, as we'll see later. And then on each side of these colored strings we have two bass strings that I've made this white color. We're knotting over each one separately, so effectively we have 7 strings, and we're going to make 7 knots per row. So we have 2 bass strings on the outside, then we have 1, I'm treating both of these together as 1, 2, and 3 bass strings. And then finally we have 2 more white strings on the side. That adds up to 7. And then I have my working string right here, and I've secured everything to my workspace. I was able to figure out how to make a triangle start, but it was kind of labor intensive and more complicated than the technique I'm going to show you. So you can start this however you like, use your favorite method of starting, and I'll go ahead and show you. Keep in mind I'm going to be using the straight edge technique for this one, so if you're not familiar with that, you don't have to do it, but I'll be teaching it as if it were a straight edge technique. But if you don't know how to do it, you can check out how to do that in my beginner's guide to alphas. That's a video that I made if you are completely new to alphas, and you can also improve your alphas with my video 6 tips and tricks for alphas. So I suggest checking out both of those videos before you start this bracelet. And of course learn how to make the basic knots, so forward, backward, backward, forward, and forward, backward. And once you're done with those, then you should be ready to go. So I'm going to start with my working string on the left side of the bracelet. So over the first 2 bass strings, first of all I'm going to start using the straight edge technique. So that's going to be a backward forward knot. And then I'm going to do a double forward knot over the next bass string. Alright, now once I've hit the colored strings, we're going to be starting with our braid technique. So I'm going to take the 2 on the left, so the 2 that are coming up, and I'm going to take the one on the right and I'm going to cross it under the one on the left. So the green one is going to be on top if you're watching the colors I'm using, and the blue one's going to be on bottom. Now I'm going to grab the blue really tightly and I'm going to make a double forward knot over the blue one. So there will be some crossing, the green's going to be on top, and I'm going to knot like that. Then putting the blue off to the side and grabbing the green, this is the string that we just crossed over. Now we'll be doing another double forward knot over the green. And it's not going to be perfectly flat, and that is okay. That's what's going to make our crossing over action, and that's what's going to get our braid design. And finally we're going to take the pink string, because we haven't knotted over that one yet, and we're just going to do another double forward knot. To finish off the row, I'm going to grab the next bass string and do a double forward knot. And finishing it off using the straight edge technique, I'm going to do a forward backward knot. So that's our first row done. I'm not going to take my bracelet off yet because the technique isn't fully solidified, but that's what it looks like so far. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like going on the other side. It's very similar, it's just opposite. So first we're going to start the row going from right to left using the straight edge technique. So I'm going to do a forward backward knot over the first bass string. And then over the next bass string I'm going to do a double backward knot. And so those first 2 bass strings are out of the way. Alright, and then once we've reached the color strings, take the pink string and cross it over the green string, so the green string's on the bottom. And then with the working string, do a double backward knot over the green string. And then do a double backward knot over the pink string. And finally do a double backward knot over the blue string. And to finish off the row, do a double backward knot over the next bass string, and using the straight edge technique, do a backward forward knot. So that's the second row. So all of the rows are the same, except the colors are going to be different because the colors are continually alternating, because we didn't start off with this order of colors. So the colors are going to be different the next time around. So I'm just going to show you the next 2 rows just to re-solidify that technique. But after that, you can go to a later timestamp and you can go back and re-watch the technique. So starting the next 2 rows, first I'm going to start using the straight edge technique again. So I'm going to do a backward forward knot. Then I'm going to do a double forward knot over the first bass string. Then I'm going to take the blue and the pink string now, the 2 on the left, and I'm going to take the blue one and cross it over the pink one, just like that. Then I'm going to do a double forward knot over the pink string, and then double forward knot over the blue string. Then I'm going to do a double forward knot over the green string, then a double forward knot over the next bass string, and finally a forward backward knot over the last string. And for the 4th row, we're going to do a forward backward knot over the bass string, then do a double backward knot. Then taking the next 2 bass strings, I'm going to take the green one and cross it over the blue one. And then over the blue one, do a double backward knot. And then over the green one, do a double backward knot. And then finally over the pink string, do a double backward knot. Then over the next string, do a double backward knot. And finishing off the row with a backward forward knot. So these 4 rows have created the pattern that you see here, and if you just continue those 4 rows just like I showed you, it's just a repetition of 2 patterns, then you'll get a longer braid that will go all the way down, and this will go pretty quickly because all you're doing is basically knotting back and forth. You're not switching colors or anything, but this looks really nice as a nice sort of monochrome subtle detail to add to your wrists, and you can make them in different colors and make different collections, and I think it would be a really cool idea to make some for your friends and stuff. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider checking out my Instagram and my Etsy for more bracelet content. Like and comment on this video and subscribe to my channel to keep the bracelets coming. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!